Before we begin, a quick and important disclaimer. I am not a licensed financial advisor, mortgage broker, or attorney. The information provided in this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial, legal, or investment advice. Real estate investing involves significant risk, and you should always consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Your financial situation is unique, and the strategies discussed here may not be suitable for you. You've seen the dream, right? It's plastered all over social media. It's the star of a dozen cable TV shows. Buy a property, rent it out, and watch the cash flow in while you sleep. Build a portfolio, achieve financial freedom, and escape the 9-to-5. Sounds so simple, so achievable. But then you do the math. You pull up Zillow, you look at the prices in your area, and you glance at your bank account. And that's when the dream crashes headfirst into reality. You think, how in the world am I supposed to buy a second house for $500,000 when my first one took every penny I had? Feels like the game is rigged, like you need to be a millionaire already just to get started. And that single thought, that feeling of impossibility, is where most people stop. They close the laptop, go back to their day job, and file real estate investing under things I'll do when I win the lottery. But what if I told you that you've been asking the wrong question? The question isn't, how can I afford to buy an investment property? The real question, the one that unlocks everything, is, how can I get a bank to buy it for me? This is the fundamental secret that separates amateur dreamers from professional investors. They don't use their own money. They use other people's money, or OPM. And the biggest, most powerful source of OPM on the planet is the United States banking system. The problem is, getting access to that money for an investment is a completely different game than buying the home you live in. The rules are different, the players are different, and the language is different. And that is exactly why you're here. Over the next 10 parts, we are going to pull back the curtain on the entire world of real estate investment financing. We're going to decode the secret language of lenders. We're going to give you a step-by-step roadmap that takes you from, I can't afford it, to which loan is best for this deal. You will learn about the different types of loans available, from the rock-solid conventional loans to the creative, flexible options you've probably never even heard of. You'll understand exactly what lenders are looking for, so you can walk into a bank with the confidence of a seasoned pro, not the anxiety of a first-timer. This isn't about hype or get-rich-quick schemes. This is the real-world, practical playbook for funding your real estate empire, one property at a time. So let's start at the very beginning with the most important distinction you need to understand. The loan you got for your own home, your primary residence, is not the same as a loan for a property you intend to rent out. To a lender, these are two entirely different worlds, and it all comes down to one word: risk. When you buy a home to live in, the bank knows you will do almost anything to avoid losing it. You'll sell your car, you'll eat ramen noodles for a year, you'll pick up a second job before you let the bank foreclose on the roof over your family's head. You are emotionally and physically invested in that property. That makes you a very low-risk borrower. But an investment property? That's just a business transaction. If the economy takes a downturn, if you lose a tenant, if a big repair comes up, that rental house is just a line item on a spreadsheet. It's the first thing you're likely to stop paying if you get into financial trouble. The bank knows this. They are not dumb. And because the risk is significantly higher for them, they protect themselves by making the requirements significantly stricter. This brings us to the first and most common type of investment loan, the one you should always try to get if you can. It's the gold standard, the conventional investment property loan. The term conventional simply means the loan meets the standards set by two government-sponsored entities you may have heard of, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These aren't the direct lenders. They're the giant organizations that buy the loans from the banks, which frees up the bank's money to lend out again. To make this system work, every loan has to fit into a nice, neat, predictable box. For investors, that box has four sides: a large down payment, a high credit score, a manageable debt-to-income ratio, and solid cash reserves. Let's break down each one. First, the big one, the down payment. For your primary home, you might have gotten away with a 3% or 5% down payment using an FHA or a first-time homebuyer program. Forget about that here. For a conventional investment property loan, you need to be prepared to put down a minimum of 20%, and more likely 25%. On a $400,000 property, that's a check for $100,000. Why so much? Again, it's all about risk. The bank calls this having skin in the game. If you've only put 3% down, and the market dips even slightly, you could be underwater on your loan and it becomes very easy to walk away. But if you've put down a massive chunk of your own cash, 100 grand, you are going to fight tooth and nail to make that investment work. You're not going to walk away easily. Your large down payment is the bank's insurance policy. Second, your credit score. For a primary residence, you might get approved with a score in the 600s. For an investment property, you need to be in a different league. Most lenders will want to see a minimum score of 680. But the best interest rates and terms are reserved for those with a score of 720, 740, or even higher. Your credit score is your financial report card. It tells the lender how reliably you've handled debt in the past. Since they're taking a bigger risk on you with an investment property, they need to see an A+ report card that proves you are a responsible borrower. Third is your debt-to-income ratio, or DTI. This is one that trips up a lot of new investors. In simple terms, DTI is the percentage of your gross monthly income that goes toward paying your monthly debt obligations. Lenders look at two numbers. The front-end ratio is just your housing payment, mortgage, taxes, insurance. The back-end ratio is your housing payment plus all your other debts: car loans, student loans, credit card payments. For an investment property, lenders generally want to see your total DTI stay below 43%, sometimes 45% at the absolute max. They need to be sure that you can afford your own life and the new mortgage payment for the investment property, even if it sits vacant for a few months. But here is a crucial pro tip, a piece of information that can make or break your ability to qualify. The bank will often allow you to use the potential rental income from the new property to help you qualify. They won't give you 100% credit for it because they have to account for vacancies and repairs. Typically, they will take the estimated market rent, based on a formal appraisal, and let you use 75% of that amount as income, which is then used to offset the new mortgage payment. This can dramatically lower your DTI, and is the key that allows people to buy multiple properties. Finally, the fourth side of the box, cash reserves. This is the one that surprises almost everyone. After you've paid your massive down payment and all the closing costs, the bank wants to see that you still have money left over in the bank. They don't want you to be house poor. They typically require you to have at least 6 months worth of PITI, that's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, for the new investment property, sitting in a liquid account like a checking or savings. If the mortgage payment is $2,500 a month, they want to see an extra $15,000 in your bank account on the day of closing. Why? It's your emergency fund. It's their proof that if your tenant moves out unexpectedly, or the air conditioner dies in the middle of July, you won't immediately default on the loan. You have a buffer to handle the realities of being a landlord. So to recap the gold standard, a 20 to 25% down payment, a credit score over 720, a DTI under 43%, and 6 months of cash reserves. This is the profile of a perfect borrower in the eyes of a conventional lender. If you can check all 4 of these boxes, you are in the strongest possible position to get the best loan with the lowest interest rate. But what if you can't? What if you have the down payment but your credit took a hit? What if your DTI is a little too high? Does that mean the dream is over? Absolutely not. It just means the conventional loan isn't the right tool for you right now. And that's when we start to explore the other tools in the investor's toolbox. So let's open that toolbox. The first tray you'll find right on top is labeled government-backed loans. Now, don't let the word government scare you. In this context, it's your best friend. These aren't loans from the government, they are loans from regular banks and lenders that are insured by a government agency. Think of it like this. The government is essentially co-signing for you. They're telling the bank, hey, we trust this person. If they run into trouble, we've got your back. And because the bank's risk is suddenly way lower, they relax their rules. They become a lot more flexible. And that flexibility is your golden ticket. The most famous of these is the FHA loan, backed by the Federal Housing Administration. This loan was created during the Great Depression to make homeownership accessible to everyday Americans, and it's still one of the most powerful tools for a first-time investor. Why? 2 magic numbers, 3.5%. That's it. A 3.5% down payment. Compare that to the 20 or 25% a conventional lender wants for an investment property. On a $300,000 property, that's the difference between needing $10,500 and needing $75,000. That is a life-changing difference. For many people, that's the difference between starting this year and starting who knows when. The FHA is also more forgiving on your credit score and your DTI. While a conventional loan might want a 680 or 700 credit score, you can often get an FHA loan with a score deep into the low 600s, sometimes even high 500s. They look at your whole financial picture, not just a single number. So what's the catch? There's always a catch, right? Well, it's a big one, but it's also an opportunity in disguise. The catch is, you have to live in the property. This is called an owner occupancy requirement. The government is insuring this loan to help you buy a home, not just a rental business. You have to certify that you intend to make that property your primary residence for at least 1 year. Now your first thought might be, well, that kills it. I don't want to buy an investment property to live in it. But this is where the rookie investor and the savvy investor part ways. The savvy investor hears owner occupancy requirement and immediately thinks of 2 words: house hacking. This is, without a doubt, the single greatest strategy for building wealth in real estate when you're just starting out. Here's how it works. The FHA doesn't just let you buy a single-family home. Their program allows you to buy a property with up to 4 units. A duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. As long as you live in one of those units, you satisfy the requirement. Let's run the numbers. Imagine you find a fourplex for $400,000. A conventional investor would need to bring $80,000 to $100,000 to the table. You, using an FHA loan, need just $14,000. You move into Unit A. You then rent out Units B, C, and D. Let's say you can get $1,000 a month for each of those units. That's $3,000 a month in rental income. Your total mortgage payment, including principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, might be something like $2,800. Do you see what just happened? Your tenants are not only paying your entire mortgage, they're giving you $200 in positive cash flow every single month. You are living for free. In fact, you are getting paid to live in your own building. While you live for free, your tenants are paying down your debt and building your equity. You get all the benefits of appreciation on a $400,000 asset, while only putting down $14,000. This is leverage on steroids. After 1 year, you've fulfilled your FHA obligation. You can now move out, rent out your own unit for another $1,000 a month, and your property is now cash flowing $1,200 a month. And the best part? You can do it again. You can go get another FHA loan for another multifamily and repeat the process. This is how empires are built from scratch. Now there is a cost to this amazing benefit. Comes in the form of something called MIP, or mortgage insurance premium. Remember how the government is insuring the loan for the bank? Well, you're the one who pays for that insurance. It's an extra fee added to your monthly mortgage payment. And on FHA loans, for the most part, it lasts for the entire life of the loan. It's the price you pay for that low down payment and flexible criteria. But as we saw in our house hacking example, if you do it right, your tenants are the ones paying that fee anyway. Okay, so FHA is a powerhouse. But what if there was a way to do all of that with 0% down? Not 3.5%. 0. For a specific group of Americans, this isn't a fantasy. It's a reality, and it's called a VA loan. If you are a veteran and active duty service member, or an eligible surviving spouse, first of all, thank you for your service. Second, you have earned access to arguably the most powerful home loan on a planet. The VA loan guaranteed by the Department of Veterans Affairs. The headline benefit is incredible. 100% financing. No down payment required. None. You can buy a $500,000 home with literally $0 down. This benefit blows almost every other loan product out of the water. It allows our service members to enter the real estate market and start building wealth without having to save for years and years to accumulate a down payment. Just like the FHA loan, the VA loan also has an owner occupancy requirement. You have to intend to live in the home. And just like the FHA loan, you can absolutely use it to house hack a multifamily property with up to 4 units. Imagine that fourplex example again. But instead of needing $14,000, you need 0. You move in, rent the other units, and live for free from day one, having brought almost no cash to the deal except for closing costs. It is an unparalleled advantage. On top of that, VA loans have some of the most competitive interest rates on the market, and this is huge, they do not have monthly mortgage insurance. There is no MIP. That's a massive monthly savings compared to an FHA loan. So no down payment and no monthly mortgage insurance. Sounds too good to be true. So where's the catch this time? The VA equivalent is something called the VA funding fee. It's a one-time fee paid at closing to help keep the program running for future generations of service members. The exact percentage varies depending on your service, the size of your down payment, if you choose to make one, and whether it's your first time using the benefit. For a first-time user with zero down, it's typically a little over 2% of the loan amount. Now that might sound like a lot, but here's the key: you can roll it into the loan. You don't have to pay it out of pocket, so your loan balance is a little higher, but you still get into the property with no money down. Furthermore, veterans receiving VA disability compensation are completely exempt from the funding fee. They pay nothing. So let's zoom out. We have the conventional loan for the investor with a strong financial profile and a hefty down payment. And now we have the FHA and VA loans. They are specialized tools designed to get you in the game with less cash out of pocket. They use the power of owner occupancy to unlock incredible terms. They are the ultimate entry-level cheat codes for real estate investing. By living in your investment for just 1 year, you can catapult yourself 5 years ahead on your wealth-building journey. But what if you don't want a house hack? What if you already own a home you love? What if you live in California but want to buy a rental property in Florida? The owner occupancy rule makes FHA and VA loans a non-starter for you. And maybe your DTI is too high for a conventional investment loan. Are you just stuck? Is the dream over? Not even close. Because that's when we open the door to a completely different world of lending. A world where your personal income doesn't even matter. This world of lending operates on a simple, powerful principle. The asset pays for itself. The loan isn't based on your ability to pay the mortgage. It's based on the property's ability to pay its own mortgage. This is asset-based lending and its champion. The tool that unlocks this entire strategy for real estate investors is called the DSCR loan. That stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. Sounds complicated, I know. It sounds like something you'd hear in a stuffy corporate boardroom. But I promise you, the concept behind it is incredibly simple, and it might just be the most important acronym you learn on your investing journey. A DSCR loan asks one question, and one question only. Does this property generate enough income to cover all of its expenses, including the new mortgage? That's it. It doesn't ask about your job. It doesn't ask for your W-2s or your tax returns. It puts the property, not you, in the hot seat. Think of it like this. A conventional loan is like a job interview for you. You have to show up with your resume, your credit score, your income, your employment history, and convince the lender that you are a reliable bet. A DSCR loan is a job interview for the property. The property has to prove that it can pull its own weight and be a profitable employee in your real estate portfolio. So how does the property prove it? With a simple mathematical formula, the debt service coverage ratio. The ratio is calculated by taking the property's gross monthly rent and dividing it by the property's total monthly housing payment. Let's break that down. Gross monthly rent is exactly what it sounds like. It's the total amount of rent you collect from the tenants each month. If it's a single-family home renting for $2,000 a month, the gross rent is $2,000. If it's a duplex with 2 units each renting for $1,500, the gross rent is $3,000. Lenders will verify this number using a signed lease agreement if there's a tenant in place, or by having the appraiser perform a market rent analysis to determine what the property should rent for. The other side of the equation is the total monthly housing payment. You'll often hear this called PISHA. This is the total cost of owning that property each month. P is for principal, the part of your mortgage payment that pays down the loan balance. I is for interest, the cost of borrowing the money. T is for taxes, your monthly property taxes. The second I is for insurance, your homeowner's or landlord insurance policy. And A is for association dues. If the property is in a community with an HOA fee, you add all of those up: principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and association dues, and you get your total monthly housing payment. Now let's put it all together with a real-world example. Let's say you find a great single-family rental. After you put your down payment on it, the new total monthly mortgage payment, the PISHA, is going to be $2,000. The appraiser confirms that the fair market rent for this property is $2,500 a month. To get the DSCR, we take the rent, $2,500, and divide it by the PISHA, $2,000. $2,500 divided by $2,000 equals 1.25. That number, 1.25, is your debt service coverage ratio. It's the magic number that tells the lender everything they need to know. What it means is that the property generates 1.25 times the income needed to cover its own expenses. Or, to put it another way, it generates 25% more income than it costs each month. It has positive cash flow built right in. Now, what ratio are lenders looking for? Well, a ratio of exactly 1.0 would mean the rent exactly covers the expenses. The property breaks even. Most lenders see this as too risky. What if you have a vacancy? What if the water heater breaks? There's no cushion. A ratio below 1.0 means the property is losing money every single month. No lender is going to approve that. So, you need a ratio above 1.0. The higher, the better. Most DSCR lenders set their minimum at around 1.15 to 1.25. If your property's ratio hits that mark, you're in the game. And if you find a fantastic deal with a DSCR of 1.4 or 1.5, lenders will love you. A higher ratio proves the deal is stronger, which means less risk for them, and that often translates into better interest rates and terms for you. This single idea completely changes the game for so many people. Let's talk about who this is for. First, the self-employed. Imagine a freelance web developer. She makes 6 figures, but she's a sole proprietor. She writes off her home office, her computer, her software, her travel, all legitimate business expenses. But on paper, after all those write-offs, her taxable income on her tax return looks tiny. A conventional lender takes one look at that tax return and denies her instantly. But she's found a duplex that rents for a total of $4,000 a month, and the PISHA would only be $3,000. The DSCR is 1.33. With a DSCR loan, the lender doesn't even ask for her tax returns. They look at the property, see the 1.33 ratio, and say, approved. Her complex income situation becomes completely irrelevant. Second, the investor who wants to scale. Let's say you already own 4 rental properties. You've used conventional loans for all of them. Now you find your 5th deal. You go back to a conventional lender, and they tell you your debt-to-income ratio is too high because you already have 4 other mortgages. It doesn't matter that all 4 properties are cash flowing and paying for themselves. The underwriter just sees the debt. With a DSCR loan, the lender ignores the DTI from your other properties. They isolate the new property and underwrite it on its own merits. As long as property number 5 can pay its own bills, you get the loan. This is how investors scale from a few properties to 10, 20 or more, without ever being held back by their personal DTI. And third, it's for regular W-2 employees who are just house rich or have other personal debts. Think of a couple with a solid income, but they have their own mortgage, 2 car payments, and some leftover student loans. Their DTI is at 49%. They're responsible people, they have savings, but they can't get another conventional loan. They find a perfect starter rental property nearby. The numbers work. The rent more than covers the new mortgage. A DSCR lender can look past their personal debt and focus solely on the quality of the investment deal they found. It sounds like a perfect solution, right? A magic key that unlocks unlimited properties. And for many investors, it is. But it's not magic. There's a trade-off. To provide this flexibility, DSCR lenders have to protect themselves in other ways, and you need to know about the catch. First, interest rates are higher. A DSCR loan will almost always have a higher interest rate than a conventional investment property loan. It might be 1 to 2% higher, sometimes more. The lender is taking on more perceived risk by not verifying your personal income, and they charge a premium for that risk. Second, the down payments are bigger. You're not getting a DSCR loan with 15% down. The absolute minimum is usually 20%, and frankly, most lenders will want to see 25% or even 30% down. A larger down payment means a smaller loan, which means less risk for the lender. It also forces you to have more skin in the game. Third, your credit score still matters. A lot. While they aren't underwriting your income, they are underwriting you as a borrower. They need to know that you pay your bills on time. A high credit score, think 720, 740 or higher, is often required to get the best terms. A lower score can get you a much higher rate or just get you denied. And finally, you need cash reserves. Lenders will want to see that you have liquid funds in the bank after closing. They want to know you can cover the mortgage if the tenant moves out or if you have a major repair. Typically, they'll require you to have at least 6 months' worth of the new property's PISHA in a checking or savings account. This isn't a loan for someone who is scraping together their last pennies for the down payment. So the DSCR loan isn't a free lunch. It costs more in rate and requires more cash up front. But what it buys you is invaluable. Speed, scalability, and freedom from the constraints of your personal income documents. It shifts the entire focus from you to the deal. If you can find a great property that cash flows, the DSCR loan provides a clear path to owning it. We now have 2 powerful tools in our belt. The conventional loan for those with strong, documentable income and low DTI, and the DSCR loan for when the property's income is the star of the show. But what happens when you find a property that needs a lot of work? A fixer-upper that isn't generating any rent right now and won't be for months? A conventional loan might be tough, and a DSCR loan is impossible because there's no income to measure. For that, you need a completely different kind of financing. You need a tool built not for stability but for transformation. This tool is the sledgehammer, the crane, the high-torque drill of real estate finance. It's not designed for quiet suburban life. It's designed for the construction site. We're talking about short-term, asset-based lending, most famously known as hard money loans. Now that name, hard money, it sounds intimidating, maybe even a little shady. But all it really means is that the loan is based on the hard asset, the property itself. Forget your W-2s, your tax returns, your debt-to-income ratio for a moment. A hard money lender has one primary question, and it's not about you. It's about the deal. They are underwriting the story of the property's transformation. They look at a dilapidated, water-damaged house that no bank would ever touch, and they don't see what's there. They see what could be there. This is the entire foundation of the fix and flip and BRR investing world, and it all revolves around three magical letters: ARV. ARV stands for after repair value. It is the single most important number in this entire universe of lending. The ARV is a professional appraiser's opinion of what the property will be worth after you have completed all of your planned renovations. The hard money lender is essentially lending against the future. They're placing a bet on your ability to execute a vision. Let's make this real. You find a house that's a complete disaster. The kitchen is from 1972, the shag carpet is a biohazard, and the roof has a few more holes than it's supposed to. The seller is desperate and lists it for $200,000. You do your homework. You get quotes from contractors and build a detailed renovation budget. You determine it will take exactly $50,000 to turn this wreck into a modern, beautiful home. New kitchen, new baths, new floors, new roof, fresh paint, the works. So your total project cost is the purchase price, $200,000, plus the renovation cost, $50,000. That's $250,000 all in. Now, before you do anything, you and your potential hard money lender will order an as-is and an ARV appraisal. The appraiser goes to the property. They see the disaster it is now, that's the as-is value. Maybe it's only worth the $200,000 you're paying. But then, they look at your detailed plan for the $50,000 renovation, your scope of work. They take that plan and they find 3 or 4 other houses in the same neighborhood, of similar size and style, that have already been fully renovated and have sold in the last few months. They see that those beautiful, updated homes are selling for $350,000. Boom! That's your ARV. The appraiser is officially stating that based on your plan and the current market, this property should be worth $350,000 once you're done. This number changes everything. A conventional bank saw a $200,000 liability. A hard money lender sees a clear path to a $350,000 asset, and they will structure their loan based on that future value. So how does the loan actually work? You'll hear 2 new acronyms: LTC and LTV. LTC is loan to cost. LTV is loan to value. A typical hard money lender might offer you, say, 90% LTC and 75% LTV. The loan you get will be the lesser of those 2 calculations. Let's run the numbers on our deal. Your total cost is $250,000. 90% of that cost is $225,000. So the LTC calculation gives you a loan of $225,000. Your after repair value, your ARV, is $350,000. 75% of that value is $262,500. So the LTV calculation gives you a loan of $262,500. The lender will give you the lesser of the 2, which is the $225,000 from the loan-to-cost calculation. This means you, the investor, need to bring the difference. Your total project costs $250,000, the loan is for $225,000, so you need to come to the closing table with $25,000 plus any closing costs. This is your skin in the game. It ensures you are just as motivated as the lender to see this project succeed. But here's a critical detail. They don't just hand you a check for $225,000. At closing, the lender pays the $200,000 to the seller to buy the house. The remaining $25,000 of the loan, which is earmarked for your $50,000 renovation budget.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.
Is held by the lender in an escrow account. You don't get the renovation money up front. You get it as you work through a process called a draw. Here's how it works. Your contractor completes the first phase of the project, let's say demolition and framing, which costs you $10,000. You pay your contractor that $10,000 out of your own pocket. Then, you submit the paid invoice and photos to the lender and request a draw. The lender sends an inspector to the property to verify that the work you said was done is actually done and done well. Once they confirm it, they release $10,000 from your escrow account back to you. You've been reimbursed. Now you have the cash to fund the next phase, plumbing and electrical, and you repeat the process. This draw system is brilliant because it protects everyone. It protects the lender by ensuring their money is physically increasing the value of their collateral, the house. And it protects you, the investor, from a shady contractor who might take a huge deposit and then disappear. You only pay for work that is verifiably complete. Of course, this kind of speed, flexibility, and vision-based underwriting comes at a price. Hard money is not cheap. It's a specialized tool and it has a specialized cost. First, the interest rates are much higher than a conventional loan. While a 30-year mortgage might be at 7%, a hard money loan could be anywhere from 9% to 15%, or even higher. The payments are also typically interest-only, meaning your monthly payment isn't reducing the loan balance at all. It's just covering the interest charge. This keeps the payment lower during the renovation, but the clock is always ticking on that principle. Second, you have upfront fees called origination points. 1 point is equal to 1% of the total loan amount. Hard money lenders typically charge between 1 and 4 points. So on our $225,000 loan, 2 points would be an upfront fee of $4,500, paid at closing. And finally, the term is short. We're not talking 30 years. We're talking 6, 12, maybe 18 months. This is a ticking clock. The entire purpose of a hard money loan is to be a temporary bridge from a property's disastrous present to its profitable future. Which means from day one you must have a crystal clear exit strategy. There are 2 primary exits. The first is to sell. This is the classic fix and flip. You complete the renovation, put the beautiful $350,000 house on the market, and sell it. From the proceeds of the sale, you pay back the $225,000 hard money loan, you recoup your own $25,000 investment plus your holding costs, and whatever is left over, in this case a hefty chunk, is your profit. The second exit strategy is the one that builds long-term wealth. It's the refinance part of the BRRR method we mentioned before. Instead of selling, you finish the renovation and place a high-quality tenant in the property. The house is now fixed up, beautiful, and most importantly, it's generating income. It's a stable, cash-flowing asset. And what do you do with a stable, cash-flowing asset? You take it to a bank. You go back and get one of those long-term, low-interest loans we talked about in the last part. You can get a conventional loan if you want to use your personal income, or you can get a DSCR loan that qualifies based solely on the rent the property now collects. You use this new cheap 30-year loan to pay off the entire balance of your expensive short-term hard money loan. This is the magic moment. You have successfully transformed a non-bankable property into a prime asset that a bank is now eager to finance. You use the expensive, powerful short-term tool to create the value, and then you refinanced into the cheap, stable, long-term tool to hold it. Often, if you've done your numbers right, the new loan will be large enough to not only pay off the hard money lender but also to pay you back your original cash investment, and sometimes even more. This is how investors use financial leverage to acquire properties with very little of their own money left in the deal. They use hard money as a bridge loan to get from problem to perfect. It's a powerful strategy for forcing appreciation and building a portfolio. This is the engine of value-add real estate. But this whole process is centered on improving an existing structure. What happens when there is no structure? What if you're not just renovating a kitchen but building a house from a raw piece of dirt? For that, you need a different kind of loan, one that understands that the value isn't just being repaired. It's being created from nothing. This is the world of construction loans. And it's a completely different animal, because the fundamental agreement between a borrower and a lender is broken. In every other loan we've talked about, the bank gives you a pile of cash, and in return you give them the legal rights to a physical asset that already exists. A house. A duplex. Something they can see, touch, and sell if you stop paying. But with a construction loan, you're asking a bank for hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars, for a dream. For a stack of blueprints and a plot of land. The collateral doesn't exist yet. The bank is betting on your ability to create it. And that is a terrifying proposition for a lender. So how do they manage that terror? How do they mitigate that risk? They don't give you the money all at once. That would be insane. It would be like paying a contractor for a full kitchen remodel before they've even bought the first cabinet. Instead, they put the money in a trust or escrow account and release it in stages called draws. This draw system is the heart and soul of a construction loan. It's the bank's safety mechanism, and you need to understand it perfectly. Think of it like a video game. You can't get to level 5 until you've beaten levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, you close on your construction loan. The bank doesn't hand you a check for $500,000. They might release an initial small amount to cover permits, architectural plans, and maybe the land purchase if it's rolled into the same loan, which is called a one-time close construction loan. Then, level 1 begins, the foundation. Your contractor gets to work. They excavate the land, they pour the concrete footers, they lay the foundation walls. Once that stage is complete, everything stops. You, the borrower, submit a draw request to the lender. The lender then sends out their own inspector to the job site. This isn't your city's building inspector. This is the bank's guy. His only job is to verify that the work claimed has actually been done, and that it's been done to the standards laid out in the plans. He checks the foundation, signs off, and sends his report to the bank. Only then does the bank release the next chunk of money, the funds to pay for the foundation work and to start level 2, the framing. Your crew comes in, and a skeleton of a house rises from the foundation. Walls go up, the roof trusses are set. Starts to look like a house. Once framing is complete, the process repeats. You request a draw. The bank's inspector comes out. He walks the site, verifies the work, signs off. The bank releases the funds for level 3, the rough-ins. This is where plumbing pipes, electrical wires, and HVAC ducts are run through the walls. Again, draw request, inspection, release of funds. This continues for every major phase. Insulation and drywall, windows and doors, flooring and fixtures, painting, landscaping. All the way until the final magical moment when you receive the certificate of occupancy from the city, proving the house is legally habitable. During this entire process, which can take anywhere from 9 to 18 months, you aren't making principal and interest payments like a normal mortgage. That wouldn't make sense because you haven't borrowed the full amount yet. Instead, you typically make interest-only payments, and only on the money that has been drawn so far. So after the first draw of, say, $50,000, your payment is only the interest on that $50,000. After the framing draw adds another $70,000, you're now paying interest on $120,000. This keeps your holding costs relatively low during the build phase when the property isn't generating any income. But this brings up a critical point. Construction loans are, by their nature, short-term. The bank does not want to be your partner in the construction business for 30 years. They want out as soon as the project is finished and their risk is gone. Once the house is built and that certificate of occupancy is in your hand, the construction loan must be paid off in full. So where does that money come from? It comes from your takeout loan. This is the permanent financing that replaces or takes out the temporary construction loan. This takeout loan is just a regular long-term mortgage. It could be a conventional 30-year fixed loan if you plan to live in it, or it could be a DSCR loan if you plan to rent it out as an investment property. Sometimes, you arrange this permanent loan at the very beginning in that one-time close we mentioned, which is convenient. Other times, it's a two-time close where you get the construction loan first, and then you have to go out and qualify for a whole new mortgage once the house is built. Now, this all sounds straightforward, but getting a construction loan is one of the most difficult loans to qualify for. The underwriting is intense because the bank is vetting 3 things, not just one. First, they're underwriting you, the borrower. They'll look at your credit, income, and assets with a microscope. They want to see that you have significant cash reserves, because the #1 killer of construction projects is cost overruns. What happens when the price of lumber doubles mid-project? Or your plumber discovers a massive granite boulder where the sewer line needs to go? The bank's loan amount is fixed. You are on the hook for every single dollar of overage. If you run out of money, the project stalls and the bank is left with a half-built, worthless asset. They need to know you have the deep pockets to finish the job no matter what. Second, they are underwriting the project itself. This is where the appraisal comes in, and it's a special kind. How do you appraise a house that's just a set of drawings? The appraiser performs a subject to appraisal, based on the completed value of the home. They analyze your detailed blueprints, your list of materials and finishes, what's called a spec sheet, and they compare it to recent sales of similar newly built homes in the area. This is a highly specialized skill, and it determines the maximum amount the bank is willing to lend. And third, and this is what trips up most first-timers, the bank is underwriting your builder. They are not giving you money to go hire your buddy who's handy with a hammer. They will demand to see your general contractor's license, their liability insurance, their financials, a list of their subcontractors, and a portfolio of their completed projects. They will likely call references. The bank is essentially making your builder their partner. They need to be absolutely certain that your contractor has the experience, solvency, and skill to execute the plan on time and on budget. If your builder isn't rock solid and highly credible, you will not get the loan. Period. So, construction loans are for the big leagues. They are for experienced developers or individuals who have an ironclad team and a pile of cash reserves. It's the ultimate creative act in real estate, but it carries the ultimate risk. But what if you're not a builder? What if you look at this whole process, the draws, the inspectors, the contractor management, the risk of cost overruns, and you think, that sounds like an absolute nightmare? What if you have the capital to invest but not the time, expertise, or desire to build a house from scratch? What if, instead of being the person managing the project, you just wanted to be the bank for someone else who is? For that, you step into a faster, riskier, and sometimes far more lucrative world of lending. The world of hard money. The term itself sounds intimidating, doesn't it? Hard money. It sounds like something out of a gangster movie, cash stuffed in a briefcase, a deal done in a dimly lit back room. And honestly, that's not entirely far from the truth in terms of its reputation. But in reality, hard money is simply a tool. A very specific, very powerful, and very fast tool. Unlike the banks we've been talking about, which are obsessed with your credit score, your job history, your debt-to-income ratio, a hard money lender cares about one thing and one thing only: the deal, the asset, the property itself. That's why it's called hard money. The loan is secured by a hard asset. They're not lending to you, they're lending against the property. This fundamentally changes the entire equation. Your FICO score could be in the gutter, you could have just quit your job to become a full-time investor, and a traditional bank wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. But if you bring a killer deal to a hard money lender, a property with undeniable potential, they'll be your best friend. For a price, of course. So who uses these loans? Primarily, it's the domain of the house flipper. The fix-and-flipper who needs to move at the speed of light. Imagine this scenario. You're at a real estate auction, or you get a call from a wholesaler. There's a distressed property, a diamond in the rough, available for a steal. But there's a catch. The seller needs to close in 10 days. Cash only. You don't have $200,000 in cash sitting under your mattress. You can't go to Bank of America. Their underwriting process alone takes longer than 10 days. You'd be laughed out of the building. This is where the hard money lender becomes your superhero. You call them up, explain the deal, and if the numbers work, you can have the money wired to escrow in a week. You get the property, the seller gets their cash, and you're in business. Hard money is the financial ambulance for time-sensitive deals. But this speed, this convenience, it comes at a steep, steep cost. If a conventional investment loan is like taking a commercial flight, safe, regulated, and relatively inexpensive, a hard money loan is like chartering a private jet with a stunt pilot. It's exhilarating, it gets you there incredibly fast, but the price tag will make your eyes water. First, let's talk interest rates. While a conventional loan might be at 5, 6, or 7%, a hard money loan typically starts around 10% and can easily go up to 15, even 18%. It's a massive difference. And that interest is often charged as interest-only payments during the loan term, meaning you're not even touching the principal balance. Second, you have points. A point is just 1% of the total loan amount, paid up front as a fee to the lender for originating the loan. A conventional mortgage might have 0 or 1 point. Hard money loans? Expect to pay anywhere from 2 to 5 points or even more. So on a $200,000 loan, you could be paying $10,000 in fees right off the bat, before you've even bought your first can of paint. And third, the term. These are not 30-year loans. They are short-term bridge financing. Think 6 months, 12 months, maybe 24 months on the absolute high end. The lender is not in the business of being your long-term partner. They are providing a short burst of capital to get you from point A, the purchase, to point B, the sale or the refinance. Their goal is to get their money back, plus their hefty profit, as quickly as possible so they can lend it out again. So why on earth would anyone sign up for this? Speed is one reason. The other is leverage on a property that a bank wouldn't finance in the first place. A bank appraiser might walk into a dilapidated house with holes in the roof and a foundation issue and declare it uninhabitable, and therefore unfinanceable. The loan is denied. A hard money lender sees things differently. They don't care about what the house is. They care about what it will be. This brings us to the single most important concept in the hard money world: the ARV, or after repair value. This is the magic number. The hard money lender will hire their own appraiser, who specializes in this kind of valuation. That appraiser will look at the property, look at your detailed renovation plan, your scope of work, and determine what the house will be worth once all the work is done. Let's say you're buying the house for $150,000 and your rehab budget is $50,000. Your total project cost is $200,000. The appraiser looks at comparable sales of newly renovated homes in the neighborhood and determines the ARV is $300,000. Now the lender has a number they can work with. They typically lend a percentage of the ARV, often around 70 to 75%. So, 70% of our $300,000 ARV is $210,000. That's the maximum they'll lend you. Since your total project cost is $200,000, this is great news. The lender will fund the entire purchase and the entire renovation. You might only need to bring the closing costs and the points to the table. You're in the deal with very little of your own cash out of pocket. This is incredible leverage that a traditional bank would never offer on a distressed property. But here's the dark side. Hard money is unforgiving. If your project goes over budget, if your contractor flakes on you, if the market suddenly turns and your ARV estimate was too optimistic, the clock is ticking. Remember that 12-month term? Comes up fast. If you can't sell the property or refinance into a more stable loan before that deadline, you're in trouble. Hard money lenders are not known for their patience or their willingness to grant extensions. Their foreclosure process is often brutally fast and efficient because the loan documents are written ironclad in their favor. They know the property has equity, and they are more than happy to take it back, finish the project themselves, and reap all the rewards you worked for. It's a high-stakes game. Now, after hearing all this, you might be thinking, man, being a hard money lender sounds like a pretty good business. And you'd be right. This is the other side of the coin. You don't have to be a big company to do this. An individual with capital can become a private money lender, which is essentially a small-scale hard money lender. You can lend your own funds to a flipper, secured by a first lien position on their property, and earn a 12% annual return plus points. You get to be the bank. You take on risk, but you're secured by a real asset, and you're compensated handsomely for it. It's a whole other world of real estate investing that doesn't involve tenants or toilets. Hard money, then, is a double-edged sword. For the borrower, it's a powerful but dangerous tool for rapid growth and leveraging opportunity. For the lender, it's a high-yield investment strategy secured by real estate. It's the wild, fast, and often ruthless side of real estate finance. But what if you're not a flipper who needs money in 10 days? What if you found a solid, cash-flowing rental property, but you don't quite fit into the neat little box that a conventional bank wants you in? Maybe you're self-employed, or you already have too many mortgaged properties for the bank's liking. You don't need the insane speed of hard money, but you do need more flexibility than a traditional lender. For that, there's a new breed of loan, a product designed specifically for modern real estate investors. A loan that doesn't care about your personal income at all. It's called the DSCR loan. And if you're a serious real estate investor, those 4 letters might just be the most important acronym you learn this year. It stands for debt, service, coverage, ratio. I know, it sounds like something your accountant would mumble in his sleep. But I promise you, understanding this one concept can be the difference between buying 2 properties and buying 20. It's the key that unlocks the entire scaling game. So what does it actually mean? Let's throw out the jargon. A DSCR loan completely ignores your personal income. It doesn't care about your W-2 from your day job. It doesn't want to see your last 2 years of tax returns. It doesn't care if you're self-employed and have 1,000 write-offs. All it cares about is one simple question. Does the property you're buying make enough money to pay for itself? That's it. The loan qualifies the asset, not the applicant. The lender is essentially becoming your business partner. They're looking at the deal the same way you are. Is this a good investment? Does the cash flow? If the answer is yes, you're likely getting the loan. The ratio part of the name is just the simple math they use to prove it. They take the property's gross monthly rent and divide it by the total monthly housing payment. That payment is what we call PITI. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Let's make it real. Imagine you find a duplex that will rent for a total of $3,000 a month. After you put your down payment, you calculate the new monthly mortgage payment. The principal and interest will be $1,800. Then you add the monthly property taxes, let's say $300, and the monthly insurance maybe $100. So your total PITI, your total debt service, is $2,200 a month. The lender does one simple calculation. They take the rent $3,000 and divide it by the PITI $2,200. The result is 1.36. That's your debt service coverage ratio. That number, 1.36, tells the lender that the property generates 36% more income than is needed to cover all of its expenses. To a lender, that 36% is a beautiful safety cushion. It's a profitable deal. It's a green light. Most DSCR lenders are looking for a ratio of 1.25 or higher. That's the sweet spot. It means the property brings in 25% more than it costs. Some lenders might go down to a 1.15 or even a 1.0 in certain markets, which means the property just breaks even. But if your ratio is less than 1.0, that's a deal that loses money every single month, and no lender is going to finance an investment that's guaranteed to be in the red from day one. So why is this so revolutionary? Think about the traditional investor's roadblock. You buy your first rental with a conventional loan, then your second. By the time you get to your third or fourth, the bank's underwriter starts getting nervous. They see all this new mortgage debt on your credit report. They look at your tax returns, and because you're a smart investor, you've used depreciation to show a paper loss on your properties, lowering your tax bill. But the bank's simple-minded software just sees a loss, sees risk. Your debt-to-income ratio is shot. The bank says, sorry, you're too much of a risk, and the door slams shut. You've hit the conventional loan ceiling. The DSCR loan smashes through that ceiling. Because they don't ask for your tax returns, those paper losses are irrelevant. Because they don't look at your W-2, your personal debt-to-income ratio is irrelevant. You could have 10 mortgages, 20 mortgages, 50 mortgages. As long as each new property you want to buy can pay for itself, as long as its DSCR is above that 1.25 mark, you can get another loan. And another. And another. There is no limit. This is how investors scale from a handful of properties to a massive, cash-flowing portfolio. It's a loan product built on pure business logic, not outdated personal finance rules. Another huge advantage is speed. A conventional loan can feel like an archaeological dig into your financial history. You're sending pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns, letters of explanation for every single deposit over $500. It can take 45, 60, even 90 days to close. A DSCR loan is streamlined. The lender is underwriting the property, not your life story. They'll run your credit and check your bank for the down payment, but the bulk of the work is the appraisal and title search. Because of this, DSCR loans can often close in 21 to 30 days, giving you a massive competitive edge in a hot market against slower, traditionally financed buyers. And for those of you concerned with liability and asset protection, DSCR loans are almost always able to be closed in the name of an LLC. This is a huge deal. Conventional lenders almost always require you to take the title in your personal name, forcing you to transfer it to an LLC after closing, which can sometimes trigger a due-on-sale clause. DSCR lenders expect you to be a business, so they're happy to lend to your business entity from day one. Now this all sounds perfect, right? The ultimate investor tool. But there's no free lunch. DSCR loans have trade-offs, and you need to know what they are. First, the cost. Interest rates on DSCR loans are typically 1 to 3 percentage points higher than a conventional mortgage. The lender is taking on a different kind of risk by not verifying your income, and they price that risk into the rate. The fees might be a little higher too. Second, the down payment. Forget about 3% or 5% down. For a DSCR loan, you are almost always going to need at least 20% down, and more commonly 25% or even 30%. The more you put down, the better your rate will be. This is a product for serious investors who have capital to deploy, not for first-timers trying to get in with minimal cash. And third, and this is a big one you have to watch out for, prepayment penalties. Many but not all DSCR loans have a clause that says if you pay off the loan within the first few years, usually 1 to 5 years, you have to pay a penalty. It might be a percentage of the loan balance. Why do they do this? Because their business model is based on collecting interest over time. They don't want you to just use their money to fix up a property and then immediately refinance out with a cheaper, conventional loan 6 months later. If you're a BRR investor, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, you have to find a DSCR lender that offers a loan with no prepayment penalty, or one that only lasts for a year. They exist, but you have to specifically ask for it. So who is the perfect candidate for a DSCR loan? It's the self-employed investor whose tax returns don't reflect their true cash flow. It's the high-income professional who already has several mortgages and is maxed out on their personal debt-to-income ratio. It's the experienced investor who values speed and certainty of closing over getting the absolute lowest interest rate. It's the empire builder who plans on buying dozens of properties and needs a financing partner who can scale with them, not hold them back. The DSCR loan is the great equalizer. It allows a savvy real estate investor with a modest personal income to compete with a high-earning doctor or lawyer. It shifts the focus from, how much do you make at your job, to, how good are you at finding profitable real estate deals? It's a loan that speaks the language of investment, rewarding you for your skill in the field, not just the number on your paycheck. But this raises a critical question. The entire DSCR model is built on a property having existing, verifiable rental income. What if you're buying a vacant property? What if you're doing a heavy renovation and the property won't be rented for another 6 months? How do you get a loan based on cash flow when there is no cash flow? Yet, for that, you need a loan that can look into the future. A loan based not on what a property is, but on what it will become. This is the world of value-add real estate, and the loans that make it possible are often called fix and flip loans, bridge loans, or hard money loans. They all operate on a similar, powerful principle. They lend based on the after-repair value, or ARV. The ARV is the secret sauce. It's a professional appraiser's educated opinion of what your property will be worth after you've completed all the planned renovations. It's not a guess. It's a calculated forecast based on comparable, recently sold properties in the area that are in the condition you plan to achieve. So let's paint a picture. You find the classic worst house on the best street. It's got good bones, but it's a disaster from 1978. Avocado green appliances, shag carpeting, a leaky roof. The seller is motivated and lists it for $200,000. You do your homework. You see that beautifully renovated homes on the same street are selling for $400,000. You get quotes from contractors and figure out you can do a full modern renovation for $75,000. So your total project cost is the purchase price, $200,000, plus the renovation cost, $75,000, which equals $275,000. The after repair value, or ARV, is that $400,000 figure that updated homes are selling for. You take this deal to a conventional bank. They look at the $200,000 purchase price and say, okay, we'll give you 80% of that, so $160,000. That leaves you needing $40,000 for the down payment, plus the entire $75,000 for the renovation out of your own pocket. That's $115,000 in cash you need to bring to the table. For most people, that's a deal killer. But then you go to a lender who specializes in these value-add projects, a hard money or private lender. They look at the deal completely differently. They aren't primarily concerned with the current, dilapidated state of the property. They're underwriting the future. They focus on the ARV. They'll say, okay, the ARV is $400,000. We're comfortable lending up to 70% of the ARV. 70% of $400,000 is $280,000. Your total project cost is only $275,000. This means the lender is willing to finance the entire project, both the purchase and the renovation. Suddenly, a deal that required over $100,000 in cash now might only require closing costs. This is the power of leveraging the future value. But they're not just going to hand you a check for $275,000 and wish you luck. That would be insane. This is where the mechanics get really interesting. The funding happens in two parts. First, they'll fund the purchase of the property at closing. You'll buy the house for $200,000, and the deed is in your name. The $75,000 for the renovation is held in an escrow account by the lender. You don't get it all at once. It's released to you in stages called draws. Before you start, you'll have submitted a detailed plan to the lender called a scope of work, breaking down the entire renovation budget, $10,000 for the roof, $15,000 for the kitchen, $5,000 for flooring, and so on. You hire your roofer, and you pay for the new roof out of your own pocket or on credit. Once the roof is done, you request your first draw. The lender sends out an inspector to the property to verify that, yes, a new $10,000 roof has been installed and the work is satisfactory. Once they approve it, they release $10,000 from your escrow account to reimburse you. Then you move on to the next phase, the kitchen. You complete the kitchen, call for another inspection, and get your next draw. You repeat this process until the renovation is complete. This draw system protects everyone.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.
It protects the lender by ensuring their money is actually going into the property and increasing its value step by step. And it protects you, the investor, by forcing you to stick to a budget and a plan, preventing you from getting in over your head. Now, who are these magical lenders who look into the future? They're typically not your neighborhood Chase or Bank of America. They are hard money lenders or private money lenders. The term hard money sounds intimidating, like something out of a gangster movie, but it really just means the loan is secured by a hard asset, the property itself. These lenders are specialists. They are often private companies or wealthy individuals who understand construction, risk, and speed. Their primary concern is the quality of the deal, not your personal W-2 income. If you lose your job halfway through the project, they're less concerned, as long as the project itself is sound and the renovation is progressing. Because if you default, they're confident they can take the property, finish the renovation, and sell it to get their money back. This focus on the asset allows them to move incredibly fast. A hard money lender can often approve and fund a loan in 7 to 10 days, while a big bank might take 45 to 60 days. In a competitive market where you need to close quickly on a distressed property, that speed is a massive advantage. But, as you'd expect, this speed, flexibility, and higher risk comes at a cost. Hard money loans are significantly more expensive than conventional loans. You're not going to get a 4 or 5% interest rate. You're looking at rates anywhere from 9 to 14% or even higher. On top of that, they charge points. 1 point is 1% of the loan amount, paid up front at closing. It's common to see hard money loans with 2 to 4 points. So on our $275,000 loan, 2 points would be an extra $5,500 you pay at closing. Now you might be thinking, 14% interest plus points? That's outrageously expensive. Why would anyone do that? Because it's not forever. These are not 30-year loans. They are short-term tools. They are a bridge. Think of it literally. A bridge loan is designed to get you from point A, the unstabilized, messy, under-construction property, to point B, the beautiful, finished, and stabilized asset. The goal is to be on that expensive bridge for the shortest time possible, typically 6 to 12 months. Once you cross the bridge, you get off. And this is where everything we've talked about starts to connect in a beautiful wealth-building strategy. This is the heart of the famous BRR method. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Let's walk our project through the full cycle. Step 1, buy. You use that fast, expensive hard money loan to buy the $200,000 property. Step 2, rehab. You use the $75,000 from the construction escrow and the draw process to transform the property into a modern, desirable home. The total loan amount is $275,000. Step 3, rent. The renovation is done. The property is now worth $400,000. You list it for rent and find a great qualified tenant who starts paying you market rent every month. Now, the property is no longer a chaotic construction site. It's a stabilized, cash-flowing asset. It's reached point B. It's time to get off the expensive bridge. Step 4, refinance. You now take your stabilized, rented property back to a more traditional lender. Could be a local bank, or it could be one of those DSCR lenders we talked about earlier. You're not asking for a purchase loan. You're asking for a cash-out refinance. The new lender sends their own appraiser, who confirms that yes, this property is now worth $400,000. This lender is willing to give you a long-term, 30-year loan at a much lower interest rate, say 6%. And they're willing to lend up to 75% of the new appraised value. 75% of $400,000 is $300,000. The new lender gives you a check for $300,000. The first thing you do with that money is pay off the entire $275,000 balance on your expensive hard money loan. Poof, that high-interest loan is gone. But wait, you borrowed $300,000, and you only owe $275,000. What happens to the extra $25,000? That money is wired directly into your bank account, tax-free, because it's loan proceeds, not income. This is the moment where the light bulb goes on for every new investor. Let's recap what just happened. You now own a $400,000 cash-flowing rental property. You have a stable 30-year fixed-rate mortgage on it, and you just got a check for $25,000. You've essentially been paid to take ownership of a high-value asset. Step 5. Repeat. You take that $25,000, which is more than enough for closing costs on the next deal, and you do it all over again. This is how real estate portfolios are built. It's a system of creating value out of thin air, using leverage to control an asset, forcing its appreciation through renovation, and then refinancing to pull your original capital back out to redeploy. You are recycling the same down payment over and over again, acquiring more and more doors with each cycle. Sounds like a perfect money machine, and when it works, it is. But this strategy is a high-wire act. It's packed with leverage and risk. What happens when the renovation costs more than you budgeted? What happens if the appraiser for your refinance decides the property is only worth $350,000, not $400,000? Suddenly, your perfect equation collapses, and that expensive bridge loan you thought you'd be on for 6 months is now your problem for a lot longer. And that right there is the razor's edge of short-term lending. It's a high-wire act without a net. So if that's the risk, what are the alternatives? What other tools are in the shed for investors who can't or don't want to go the conventional route? This is where we enter the world of specialized, investor-focused financing. And first up is the close cousin of the bridge loan, the infamous hard money loan. Now, the term hard money can conjure up images of back alley deals and guys named Vinny. And historically, you wouldn't be entirely wrong. But today, it's a much more professionalized industry, though the core concept remains the same. A hard money loan is a short-term loan provided by a private individual or a fund, not a bank. And here's the key difference. They care very little about you. They don't care about your tax returns, your debt-to-income ratio, or your credit score. They care about one thing and one thing only: the hard asset, the property itself. Their entire calculation is based on the after-repair value, or ARV, of the property you're buying. They'll lend you a percentage of that future value, typically 65 to 75%. Let's say you find a distressed property for $150,000. You know that with $100,000 in renovations, it'll be worth $350,000. A hard money lender might look at that $350,000 ARV and agree to lend you 70% of it, which is $245,000. This covers your purchase price of $150,000 and almost all of your $100,000 reno budget. You're in the deal with very little of your own cash out of pocket. That's the magic. And it's fast. A hard money lender can close in a week, maybe 10 days. They let you compete with all cash offers. So what's the catch? Oh, there's a big one. The price. Hard money is brutally expensive. You're not looking at 7 or 8% interest. You're looking at 12, 14, even 18% interest. And on top of that, you're paying points. Remember points? 1 point is 1% of the loan amount paid up front. Hard money lenders charge anywhere from 2 to 5 points. So on that $245,000 loan, you could be paying over $12,000 in fees right at closing, before you've even bought your first can of paint. The loan is almost always interest only, and it's for a very short term, usually 6 to 18 months. The lender's entire business model is based on you getting in, fixing the property, and getting out, either by selling it or refinancing into a long-term loan. They are not your friend. They are not your partner. They are a high-price tool like a diamond tip saw. Incredibly effective for a specific job, but if you misuse it, you will lose a finger. If you miss your deadline, if your renovation goes over budget, if the market dips and your ARV isn't what you thought, they will foreclose. And they will do it faster and more ruthlessly than any bank you've ever seen, because their only concern is getting their capital back out of the asset. Now let's swing the pendulum to the complete opposite end of the spectrum. From the cold, hard, transactional world of hard money to something based entirely on relationships and creativity. Seller financing. This is one of the most powerful, yet underutilized, tools in an investor's arsenal. Also known as owner financing, it's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of going to a bank, you make a deal directly with the person selling the property. The seller becomes the bank. You agree on a purchase price, a down payment, an interest rate, and a loan term, and you write it all up in a promissory note. You send your monthly mortgage check directly to the person who used to own the house. Why on earth would a seller agree to this? There are actually a ton of reasons. Maybe the property is unique or has issues that make it difficult to finance through a traditional bank. Maybe the seller is an older landlord who is tired of dealing with tenants but would love a steady, passive monthly income stream for the next 10 or 15 years without having to manage anything. By selling to you with seller financing, they can often get their full asking price, and they can spread out their capital gains tax liability over many years instead of taking one massive hit. For you, the buyer, the benefits are huge. You can negotiate everything. The down payment could be 10%, 5%, maybe even 0% if you find a motivated enough seller. Closing costs are a fraction of what they are with a bank, because there are no loan origination fees, appraisal fees, or underwriting fees. The process is fast, simple, and flexible. But it's not without its own major landmine. It's called the due-on-sale clause. If the seller who is financing your purchase still has an underlying mortgage of their own on the property, that original mortgage almost certainly contains a due-on-sale clause. This clause gives their bank the right to demand the entire remaining loan balance be paid in full the moment the title of the property is transferred to someone else, which is you. Now, will the bank find out? Maybe not. Does it happen often? No. But if they do find out, they can call the loan due, and if your seller can't pay it off, the property goes into foreclosure, and you could lose your investment. The only way to do seller financing with 100% safety is if the seller owns the property free and clear, with no existing mortgage. Okay, so we've covered the fast and furious hard money loan and the creative relationship-driven seller financing. But what about the loan that's truly built for the modern scaling real estate investor? This brings us to the single most important loan product to understand if you want to own more than just a couple of properties. It's called the DSCR loan. DSCR stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. And I know that sounds like a boring accounting term, but I promise you, this is the key that unlocks the door to building a real portfolio. With every other loan we've talked about, especially conventional loans, the bank's primary focus is on your personal income. Your W-2, your tax returns, your personal debt-to-income ratio. After you buy a few properties, your personal DTI gets maxed out, and the bank says, sorry, you can't have any more loans, even if your properties are gushing cash flow. It's a brick wall that stops most investors in their tracks. The DSCR loan doesn't care about your personal income. You don't even need to have a job. The lender is not underwriting you. They are underwriting the property's ability to pay for itself. The one and only thing they care about is the ratio. The debt service coverage ratio. The formula is simple. It's the property's net operating income divided by its total debt service. Let's make that even simpler. Think of it as gross rent divided by the total mortgage payment, or PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So, if a property rents for $3,000 a month, and the total PITI payment is $2,000 a month, you divide $3,000 by $2,000. Your DSCR is 1.5. This means the property generates 1.5 times the income needed to cover its own debt. It makes 50% more than it costs. To a DSCR lender, that is a beautiful thing. Most DSCR lenders are looking for a ratio of 1.2 or higher. Some go down to 1.15 or even 1.0 for a very strong borrower. But as long as the property's income can cover the debt with a little bit of a cushion, you're good to go. This is how you see investors on the internet who own 20, 50, or 100 doors. They are not qualifying for those loans with their W-2 job. They are using DSCR loans, where each property qualifies on its own merits. The rates are a bit higher than a conventional loan, maybe 1 to 2% higher, and they typically require a 20 to 25% down payment. But they are the engine of portfolio growth. They are designed for investors, by lenders who understand the investment business. They allow you to scale your real estate business based on your ability to find good deals, not on the income from your 9 to 5. It changes the entire game from being a hobbyist to being a professional. So you have these powerful tools at your disposal. Hard money for speed, seller financing for creativity, and DSCR loans for scale. Each is a specialist instrument, designed for a specific purpose, with its own unique set of rewards and risks. But knowing what the tools are is only half the battle. The real mastery comes from knowing which tool to use and when. It's about building a strategy, a system for financing that allows you to move from one deal to the next, building momentum and wealth as you go. We've laid out all the pieces of the puzzle. But how do you put them together to build a true real estate empire? And what is the single catastrophic mistake that can bring the entire thing crashing down? That mistake, the one that turns a dream of financial freedom into a bankrupt nightmare, isn't some complex, hidden trap. It's deceptively simple. It's the siren song of leverage, whispering that you can have it all, right now. The single most catastrophic mistake an investor can make is mistaking debt for wealth and sacrificing cash flow on the altar of rapid expansion. Let me tell you a quick story about an investor we'll call Alex. Alex was smart, ambitious, and he'd watched a ton of videos just like this one. He mastered the BRR method. He found a distressed property, got a hard money loan, managed the rehab, and forced the appreciation. The bank gave him a cash-out refi that covered his initial investment and the renovation costs. He did it. The no money down dream. He was hooked. He immediately rolled that capital into 2 more projects, then 4. Within 18 months, Alex controlled a portfolio of 8 single-family rentals. On paper, he was a millionaire. His net worth had exploded, but look closer and you'd see the cracks. To get the deals done, he'd accepted less than ideal tenants. To maximize his leverage, he'd refinanced at the absolute highest loan-to-value the banks would allow. His cash flow after paying all the mortgages was razor thin, a few $100s per door. He had no cash reserves because every single dollar was being deployed into the next deal. He was playing a high-stakes game of financial Jenga, pulling from the bottom to build on the top, hoping the tower wouldn't wobble. And then it did. A tenant in property number 3 stopped paying rent. The eviction process took 3 months and cost thousands in legal fees. At the same time, the HVAC unit in property number 7 died. A $10,000 surprise. Suddenly, Alex's paper-thin cash flow wasn't just gone, it was negative. He was feeding the beast from his own pocket. He missed a mortgage payment on one property, then another. The cross-collateralization clauses in his portfolio loans kicked in, meaning a default on one loan put all of his properties at risk. The calls from the bank started. The tower was wobbling violently. Within 6 months of his first missed payment, the empire Alex had built so quickly came crashing down in a storm of foreclosures. He lost everything. Alex didn't fail because he used leverage. He failed because he worshipped it. He confused the accelerator with the steering wheel. He built a skyscraper on a foundation of sand because he forgot the one unbreakable rule of real estate. Cash flow is not important. It is the only thing that is important. So how do you put the pieces together to build a true, lasting real estate empire? One that can withstand the storms? You do it by focusing on building a fortress, not a house of cards. You do it with a blueprint. First, you lay the foundation. This is your first 1 to 4 properties. This is your learning phase. You're not trying to get rich here, you're trying to get smart. You use the safest, most stable financing available, conventional loans. Maybe an FHA loan for your first house hack. Your goal is singular. Acquire a solid property in a good area that produces undeniable, stress-tested cash flow. You run the numbers with a 25% vacancy factor, even if the market average is 5. You budget for capital expenditures, repairs, and property management. You buy for cash flow, and you let appreciation be the icing on the cake, not the cake itself. This foundation is built with caution, diligence, and a focus on creating a small, but reliable stream of passive income. Once your foundation is solid and generating cash, you begin to build the structure. This is the scaling phase. Now, you can start to strategically introduce more powerful loan products. You've proven the model. You can approach a local bank for a portfolio loan, bundling your existing properties to free up your personal credit lines. You can execute your first BRRR, but you do it with wisdom. Instead of pulling out every last cent in a cash-out refi, you leave 20 or 25% equity in the deal. This is your cushion. It's your shock absorber. It lowers your mortgage payment, which widens your cash flow margin. It gives you a buffer if the market dips. This is the difference between smart leverage and reckless leverage. Smart leverage makes you stronger. Reckless leverage makes you fragile. During this phase, you are a machine methodically adding one cash-flowing door at a time, with each new property making the entire structure more stable, not less. The third part of the blueprint is reinforcing the core. As your portfolio grows, your greatest risk is complexity. The core of your empire is, and always will be, cash flow and cash reserves. You must become maniacally focused on this. Every single decision, from tenant screening to refinancing terms, must be filtered through one question. How does this affect my cash position? You should have a business bank account with at least 6 months of total expenses. Mortgage, insurance, taxes, everything, for every single property. Yes, that is a lot of cash to have sitting on the sidelines. Your inner Alex will scream to deploy it, but that cash isn't just sitting there. It's working. It's buying you the most valuable asset in the world: sleep. It's the firewall that prevents a fire in one unit from burning down the entire building. It allows you to survive the tenant vacancy, the market downturn, the unexpected disaster, so you can buy the deals from the Alex investors when they are forced to sell. Finally, you build the spire. This is the wealth preservation and optimization phase. Your portfolio is now a significant, self-sustaining entity. You're no longer just an investor. You're a capital manager. Here, you use sophisticated financing as a surgical tool. You might use a cash-out refinance not to buy another property, but to pay off a higher-interest private loan, simplifying your debt structure and boosting global cash flow. You might explore commercial loans to acquire a small apartment building, diversifying away from single-family homes and scaling your income in bigger chunks. You might use a 1031 exchange to sell several smaller properties and consolidate into one larger, easier-to-manage asset with better economies of scale. The goal is no longer just more. The goal is better, more efficient, more resilient, more passive. You're moving from offense to defense, securing your family's wealth for generations. That is the blueprint. A solid foundation of conservative financing, a scalable structure built with intelligent, cushioned leverage, a reinforced core of massive cash reserves, and a spire of strategic optimization. Over these 10 parts, we have covered an immense amount of ground, from the fundamental DNA of a mortgage, to the power of government-backed loans, to the creative tools of hard money and portfolio financing. We've given you the schematics for every tool you will ever need. But a toolbox, no matter how full, is useless until you pick up the first hammer. The gap between knowing the path and walking the path is action. Real estate investing isn't a spectator sport. It's a contact sport. You will make mistakes. You will have moments of doubt. But every successful investor you see today started exactly where you are now, with knowledge, a plan, and the courage to make the first move. The market will always have its ups and downs, but the fundamental need for safe, clean housing will never go away. The principles of buying cash-flowing assets that other people pay for over time is a timeless wealth strategy. The journey from your first loan application to a multi-generational empire is long, but it starts with a single step. The knowledge is now yours. The tools are in your hands. The only thing left to do is build.
Disclaimer: the information presented is for informational purposes only and is not professional financial, investment, or tax advice. All investments involve risk and may result in partial or total loss. You should always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. By viewing this video, you agree not to hold the creator liable for any loss or damage arising from your use of the information provided.